It's another year, and the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G is here. It's a good phone, but in 2022, with lots of competition from Xiaomi, Motorola, Realme, and even other Samsung devices, unless you're interested in one of the A53's standout features, you might find better value in another phone. The A53 5G has two great features: long-term software support and excellent battery life. Combined, this makes for a phone that I actually think you could use for 4 or 5 years and still probably have a day's worth of battery life when security updates eventually stop in 2027. But whether or not the A53 is a good value for you depends on what features you care about the most. This is the Poco F3. It's faster, with a brighter screen and quicker charging, plus it's $100 cheaper than the Galaxy A53. So what are the differences? For speed, is the A53 5G fast? Kinda. It just feels like this phone lags too much and too often. Opening apps, navigating the UI, checking messages, and especially unlocking the device with the in-display fingerprint scanner are all just too slow when compared to the Poco F3. For the A53, I did turn off the unlock animation and registered the same finger twice, which helped with speed and accuracy, but it's still too slow. I believe this comparatively sluggish performance is due to the A53's new Exynos 1280 processor, which is paired with 6 or 8 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM and 128 gigs of UFS 2.2 storage, while the much quicker Poco F3 has the still powerful Snapdragon 870 with either 6 or 8 gigs of faster LPDDR5 RAM and either 128 or 256 gigs of speedier UFS 3.1 storage. Basically, when you're interacting with these two phones, you have to wait on the A53 while the F3 waits on you. This difference in performance is huge in benchmarks, as you can see, and this does translate into much better gaming performance on the F3, where you can play at higher FPS and detail settings in demanding games like Genshin and Asphalt, and with much fewer stutters in Call of Duty or PUBG. One more thing I have to mention: the haptics on this phone are terrible. Just really sluggish vibrations, and the F3 is much better. It's hard for me to show you the difference, but if these haptic motors were cats, the Poco is a saber-toothed tiger, and the A53 is Garfield. How are the screens? At 6.5 inches with a full HD Plus resolution of 2220 by 1080 and a peak brightness of 800 nits, this 120Hz AMOLED display is certainly good. Unfortunately, the Poco F3's is brighter. At 6.67 inches, a full HD Plus resolution of 2400 by 1080 and a peak brightness of 1300 nits, the F3's 120Hz AMOLED display is a significant improvement. It also beats the A53 with a higher touch sampling rate of 360Hz instead of the A53's 240Hz, which helps in gaming performance. Even so, I don't have an issue viewing the A53 on a sunny day, and I really don't have any complaints about it, just that there are nicer displays on cheaper phones like the F3. If this video has been helpful so far, please give it a like, and thank you for that. Does the battery charge quickly and last all day? The Samsung A53's battery is lasting me an incredible 2.5 days with my typical YouTube viewing, podcast streaming, light gaming, and web browsing. Unfortunately, it only charges at a max of 25 watts, and there isn't a charger in the box. I did test with a 25-watt Samsung charger, and it took around 1 hour and 20 minutes to charge from 1% to full. The Poco F3 charges faster and includes a 33-watt charger, but it will only last a full day, maybe a day and a half with my typical use. One note: if you do pick up the A53 to use for many years, turn on the Protect Battery feature in the battery settings, and that should help extend battery health in the long run. Is the A53 5G reliable? Absolutely. I really like Samsung's One UI flavor of Android, and besides the lag that I mentioned earlier, the A53 has been very stable, and I can't really find any bugs. One UI 4 has tons of features and plenty of customization options, especially if you download GoodLock and some other Samsung-specific apps from the Galaxy Store. Plus, this year, Samsung is offering 4 years of Android OS updates and 5 years of security updates. This is great for those who like to hold on to their phones for a long time and keep them on the latest Android version. The Poco F3 is a different story. The F3 is about a year old, and most of the bugs in its MIUI for Poco flavor of Android have been worked out, but other Poco and Xiaomi devices that I've recently tested still have bugs in updated MIUI versions. Also, One UI is more intuitive, customizable, and easy to use than MIUI. The F3 will at least get Android 12, but Samsung is leading in the long-term OS update race, as well as maintaining timely security patches, and Poco doesn't make any guarantees that can come close to what Samsung's offering. The A53's cameras are pretty good, and compared to the Poco F3, they produce images that are more colorful and punchy. The Poco can produce better photos using Gcam, and there are a lot of Gcam ports available for the F3, so I'll link to some of my Poco F3 Gcam videos in the description if you want to learn more. Unfortunately, the only Gcam port I could get to function properly on the A53 was a Gcam Go port. That didn't do a great job. Both phones can record 4K video from the main camera, but only the A53 can also record 4K from the selfie camera. Though I do prefer the photos from the A53, I actually like the video from the Poco F3 better, since it produces more stable footage even at 4K. The A53 speakers are fine and get loud enough. To me, they sound slightly better than the F3 speakers, which do tend to distort at high volume. There you go. If you want a truly budget, almost flagship device, the Poco F3 is a great choice and saves you $100. But if you want a more reliable long-term phone that's all around very good, the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G might be the perfect phone for you. Just maybe pick up the 8GB version for a bit of future-proofing. Other options you might consider would be the cheaper, newly released Poco M4 Pro 5G, which also has great battery life, the Samsung A52S, which is a bit cheaper but still comes with that excellent One UI OS and a faster processor, or even the Samsung S20 FE if you think the A53 5G is the right phone for you, or the F3, M4 Pro 5G. Really a lot of phones around this price point. You should really check out Wireless Place, since they have Samsung devices as well as phones from Xiaomi, Realme, Motorola, OnePlus, and more. I've bought a few phones from Wireless Place and they always ship fast and internationally, have great prices, plus they include a US adapter for the charger if you need it. Please use my discount code PC10 when you check out. If you want to support the channel or just want to save a little money, a link to the site is in the description. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and feel free to comment with any questions you might have and I will answer them perfectly. My name's not